Welcome Battle Brothers. Today we are going to be covering some of the newer things happening with the game as we enter into the earliest parts of Season 2. Today we will be breaking down in depth what we can expect to be coming throughout Season 2 and some teases revealed for Horde mode and more. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, make sure to stay tuned. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. Let's start off with what to expect throughout the season. So far we just barely entered Season 2 on the roadmap itself. We know that Season 2 will essentially be lasting until the end of the year, with it getting plenty of bug fixes and improvements along the way. From the roadmap, we know we'll be getting the 7th operation map, a lethal difficulty, the neo-volkite pistol, and a new enemy for everyone as an update down the line. Along with later on, getting the Dark Angels content pack for everyone who is a Season Pass owner. Now when it comes to the 7th operation map itself, just from the screenshot we can see some interesting details. Through blowing the image up, we can see that it looks like the trees have seen better days, almost like the planet itself is dying, and there seem to be some tendrils going up into the sky itself. After doing a little digging in the 40k lore, I learned that this could be essentially a Tyranid threat in itself because, to put it into simple terms, these tendrils or tubes could be what are known as capillary towers. When the Tyranid hive mind deems that the planet's defenses and pushback is at an all-time low, they start using these capillary towers to feed off of the biomass that the planet has. These capillary towers then feed that biomass to the orbiting hive ships in the atmosphere. Once the planet is essentially conquered by the Tyranids, even the Tyranids themselves, after ingesting all the biomass either living or dead, throw themselves into the reclamation pools located by the capillary towers entrances, where their biomass is also fed back and recycled later on to make more Tyranid units later and to do the same exact thing to other planets. All of this basically has me believing the operation will be going ahead and disconnecting these tendrils from the planet through bomb placements, or even sending a toxin or a bomb up the tendrils to the ships, in order for the Space Marines to be able to stop the biomass feeding from happening any further. On top of this cool sounding story element to the new operation, we will also more than likely be getting the new lethal difficulty at or around the same time that that mission comes out. Doing so will not only increase the intensity and difficulty of the new map, but across all of the operations. Meaning you'll probably want to have some of the best gear and perks already available to be able to take down all the enemies in your way. Speaking of gear, when it comes to the neo-volkite pistol, I'm not sure what lore restrictions would keep it from happening, but if there are none, I expect it to be available to most, if not all, classes that don't have a primary in their loadout. That way they would be able to expand and essentially spice up what weapons you can use. And I have a feeling from what I've heard about it, usually being used by higher ranked people in the lore, that this one is going to be one that you're going to want to get as soon as possible, since it seems to pack a real punch. Now, getting into the new enemy, they've already confirmed this enemy won't be a part of a new faction, just a new unit from factions already introduced in the game. And I think they may be introduced with this new operation. And if it is, I believe it would make the most sense to introduce the enemy as being the Malanthrope, which is used along with Rippers to basically collect the biomass near these reclamation pools in 40k lore. So it would make a lot of sense for them to be introduced if everything we've broken so far about the operation has in fact been correct. And the Malanthrope itself is super dangerous, as the Malanthrope's tendrils carry a venomous poison that is cardiotoxic, neurotoxic, and dermonecrotic. This toxin is then injected through the skin and causes excruciating pain. The poison disables the target, and the Malanthrope then absorbs its body into the bloated sacs present on its torso, where the victim's genetic material is slowly extracted and processed. A terrible death for any individual unlucky enough to be caught still alive by the Malanthrope. A Malanthrope is also a highly intelligent psyker with a powerful link to the Tyranid hive mind. Like the closely related Zoanthrope, from which the Malanthrope bioform may have been evolved, a Malanthrope can only move by physically levitating itself to skim slowly over the ground like a malevolent balloon. And as stated at the end there, it is surmised it could be an evolution of the Zoanthrope, an enemy already in the game, so it just makes a lot of sense to me that this is the next enemy introduced. Now when it comes to the Season Pass content, this stuff we don't know exactly what we're in store for yet, besides the cosmetic for the Black Angels chapters in 40k lore, but I'm still a little bit confused on what the champion pack is going to be. But once we get our first example through this content pack for the Black Angels, we'll definitely know what's in store for the factions to follow. For now, there are data mined leaks for the Black Angels armor pieces and weapon skins coming to the game, but for the anticipating fans not wanting to be spoiled, I won't be showing them in this video. Now, that's everything we know and then are speculating on of what will be coming throughout the rest of the year for Season 2 of Space Marine 2. But what about some teases for the future? Well, I have you covered. It has been rumored that during one of the big patches for this season, we will be getting the visor color customization that a lot of people have been inquiring about. And we got a really cool tease from one of the developers about the horde mode that isn't supposed to be coming until Season 4. Someone tweeted out to the creative director for Space Marine 2 and tweeted out an idea for horde mode that they had that reads as follows. Have you guys thought about an invasion mechanic for certain operations, effectively changing the enemies from chaos to nids and vice versa? Done with 2 enemy waves hitting at once, causing a 3-wave fight. The creative director responded by saying, "We are releasing a horde mode at the end of our season pass that will certainly add some new things into the mix, though I can't confirm anything yet." Now, this I think from the person tweeting is a pretty cool idea, giving horde mode a unique challenge, an interesting mechanic to switch up the horde mode formula, and potentially even the possibility of getting the battle to feel like an all-out war sounds awesome. Now, from the creative director's response, sadly, in my opinion, I don't think this necessarily will be a thing in their horde mode. But from his response, I do think they're going to innovate on previous norms of horde mode in the iteration they'll be bringing into Space Marine 2. Which of in itself is an exciting thing to look forward to for sure. The creative director has also been recently talking about a possible story expansion or even leaning into the territory of talks for Space Marine 3, and what they could do with that. But personally, I'm a person that's like, I'm in the moment, right? We just got Space Marine 2, I think if anything, maybe they should add a campaign DLC that could essentially tie into Space Marine 3, if it ever got greenlit and they wanted to take on making that new game down the line. And even have the possibility of making it a part of the season pass after this season pass ends with Season 4. That way they could incentivize sales on another season pass down the line, while also just staying focused on updating this game and making it as good as possible. For anyone confused, I just think that once this season pass is said and done after Season 4, they have the opportunity to have another season pass with more content and a year 2 roadmap if they wanted to go into that direction. Think something along the lines of Mortal Kombat, where they have a Combat Pack 1 and a Combat Pack 2, and in that Combat Pack is about a year's worth of released fighters, which for them is usually about 4 or 5. But what we've gotten here for Space Marine 2 in 1 year and what they've promised is a lot of content. So personally, I wouldn't be opposed if we get something like a campaign expansion. None of this is confirmed to be happening or anything, it's just a direction they could go into if they wanted to make more money from this game down the line. Anyways guys, let me know what you guys think of everything presented here in this video. Do you think the Malanthrope is the next enemy? Are you excited to get a new operation to do? And are you still enjoying Space Marine 2 overall? Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed or found it entertaining, make sure to scroll down and make that like button glow so we can reach our like goal of 25 likes for this video. While you're down there, consider subscribing as we'll be covering Space Marine 2 as updates come out, other AAA games throughout the year, hilarious content, and more. As always, your support through your viewership, liking, and subscribing is always greatly appreciated and helps me out tremendously against the tyrannid threat that is the YouTube algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to catch you guys next time. Peace!